Good morning, Earthlings, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to take this chance to amend a few false statements that I had made in my original video about Jeskola Buzz, which you can see right here somewhere. A lot of these points were actually brought to my attention by my viewers, so I would like to thank any of you who wrote in and set me straight on anything I was incorrect about. But most importantly, I've just been thinking about the Jeskola Buzz community a lot lately, and especially whether we have a future or whether Jeskola Buzz is destined to fade out into obscurity forever. Before we get too far into this, I would just like to catch everybody up who isn't on the same page. Buzz is a free music making program. It has been around since the late 90s, but it still has a lot of features that make it very viable to use today, especially in comparison to other free music making software. It has quite a cult following at this point, and there is still a very small community of people who really care a lot about this software, even though it is very old at this point. Again, watch that previous video if you really want the whole rundown. Anyway, I pose this question to anybody who's watching who might be a member of the Buzz community or who might know important stuff. Have you heard any plans or even any rumors about the future of Buzz? I'm sure many of you watching right now are also dying to know this as well. So in my first video, I had claimed that Buzz had been getting regular updates ever since about 2008 when the new version was launched. But then folks had to go and start pointing out that it has been about 6 years since the last update to Buzz. Pretty crazy how time just seems to fly right by these last few years, right? So personally, I'm not really left wanting for any features or fixes inside of Buzz. All that I personally really want is just the assurance that Buzz is going to be a viable platform going on into the future. To help this along, I think it would be a really cool and nice idea if we could all try to donate a little bit to the Buzz developers, if we're able to. So I know that just like keeping the website up and active costs so much per year, any maintenance on the site, moderators for the forums, it all costs money. And that isn't even taking into account, the people who would have to work on a new version of Buzz, the labor involved in coding all this stuff, right? So Buzz is a free program. If we want new features, maybe we should pay a little bit of money. Should totally point out that I'm not sponsored, I don't work for Buzz, I'm not out here trying to drum up interest for donations or anything. I just think it would be kind of helpful to the cause. If you're a longtime Buzz user like me, then maybe it's worth your dollar to make a donation. So another place where I was very wrong in my first video is that Buzz is not in fact an open source program. But I think the possibility of Buzz becoming an open source program at some point here is a pretty interesting idea for sure. And this is a sentiment that I've heard echoed by other users as well. If the original developers ever lose interest in the project completely, and they're not planning on doing any further releases or updates, they're not planning on upkeeping the site anymore, I think the coolest thing that they could possibly do is to hand over control to the Buzz community in general, instead of just letting it die completely. That is completely just my personal opinion, and an opinion that I've heard echoed other places. So in my first video, I had falsely claimed that Buzz was already an open source program, and that there were already existing versions of it out there that were made by community members. So it was really just a case that my memory had failed me. It has been quite a few years now, and these other versions of Buzz that I'm remembering, they weren't actually based on the Buzz source code itself. They were just attempted clone programs that were entirely unrelated and were not officially associated with Buzz in any way at all. These would include versions like Re-Buzz, I think was one of them, or Dark Buzz was another. Again, it's been a long time. It was the Buzz Machines format, where users could go and openly download the code and develop their own Buzz machines. And to this day, people are still doing pretty incredible things with this system to expand the functionality of Buzz. That's the only part where it was kind of like open source already. That was my bad, my mistake. It was quite a slip up, and it's also urged me to make sure that I'm doing a lot more research before I get on camera and start spewing facts that may or may not be facts, right? I swear, usually I'm pretty reliable. So with the new version of Windows approaching, Windows 11 is going to be a very real thing here very soon. I've been wondering what the compatibility is going to be like between this 6-year-old or so version of Buzz that we have and the brand new Windows 11. Are there going to be issues? Will Windows 11 even run Buzz at all? I know that if you right-click on Buzz and then go into the properties, you can set the Windows compatibility mode to an older version of Windows. And I've definitely had to use this before in order to get Buzz working on older systems back when I just had a really old system myself, right? So hopefully this compatibility mode trick will still work on Buzz in Windows 11. I'm personally probably going to hold off on installing Windows 11 until I have a lot more of my Buzz songs completed, just in case. Because I, for one, would hate to lose a lot of the progress on the song projects I have going, just because I wanted to update to the newest version of Windows, because honestly, I don't feel like there's any features in Windows 11 that I'm actually going to care about, more so than what Windows 10 has. I think that Windows is already doing just fine of a job as is. So moving on, Windows 11 support would just be a great thing to include in a newer version of Buzz, were one going to happen. A few things that could go hand in hand with a new version of Buzz also is maybe doing some updates to the landing page, maybe doing some updates to the help manual or the user manual, just generally making the new user experience more approachable. I've been recommending Buzz as a very good alternative to other free DAWs, even in today's current climate. And the one thing that I think we're all in agreement on that could be a very big stumbling block to new users is Buzz is kind of cryptic in a few ways. There are some very important functionalities to Buzz that you wouldn't really pick up on unless you were like really digging to find them. And I just think it would be better if we could make these things more apparent to new users. To help along this process, I might make some more updated, like basics of Buzz kind of videos like that. I've been kind of wanting to, but I've been holding off on doing it because I'm not really sure what the need or the want for that is. Like, is this something that's actually going to be in demand? So I'm not sure. I might just try it out a little bit more than I have been. It hasn't really proven useful to me as somebody who is trying to grow on YouTube, but maybe it'll just be something nice to help out the community, and I would be more than willing to do it. So there was another topic that came up saying that the user forums over at Jeskola.net were no longer accepting new members, and that this would also pose an issue to newer users of Buzz finding the help they need and not becoming frustrated to a point where they would just give up on the program entirely. I think that being able to seek help in the forums is very important, and thankfully this is not a feature that has just been disabled completely for new users, as was thought. So I found out what actually happened was the moderators over there at the forums were having a lot of trouble with spam requests, with automated bots who are pretending to be real people who want to sign up and spam the forums. So I guess they had disabled new membership temporarily while they were dealing with the influx of spam bot requests. And as far as I can tell, new forum membership is back open now, so you can go over there right now and try to sign up, and hopefully it works. I'm going to reference the forum post that I read this in down in the description of this video, so you can check it out for yourself and see what you make of it. So one more little false claim that I'd like to correct is, at some point I think I might have implied that Buzz was only capable of working with 16-bit WAV files. This was incorrect information, and in fact Buzz can use 24-bit or 32-bit WAV samples. It isn't really a limitation put in place by Buzz itself, but the sampler that you choose to use. So if you're using a sampler in Buzz, I think that you should be using the Mathilde tracker, just because it is amazing and it has a lot of great features. And if you're using the Mathilde tracker, make sure that you have the most recent version, because the older versions will only support 16-bit waves, but the newest version will support up to 32. So I'm just going to list a few places where you can find active users of Buzz. The first, of course, is Jeskola.net in the forums. And I have to mention buzztunes.org. This is a cool site where people who use Buzz can upload the music that they make with Buzz. There's a little bit more information on the buzzwiki.robotplanet.dk. And I've also recently discovered that there is a Facebook group for Jeskola Buzz users. Anyway, I've gone on forever about this, and I'm going to shut up now. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being part of the Buzz community. I hope that some of this info was useful for some of you out there, and I hope we can drum up some cool discussion about it down in the comments. This is a shout out for my one lone Patreon supporter, John Johnson. He is a good friend and frequent musical collaborator, and I appreciate you a lot, bud. If anyone else is interested in supporting my channel financially in some way, you can head over to my link here. It's patreon.com/TyWolfMusic, and you could offer me a small monthly donation. It would make me super duper happy. Like and subscribe me if you feel like I have earned it, and I will see you all next time.
Have fun out there.